They are not behind velvet ropes or sealed in private mausoleums. These graves are open to the public, waiting for anyone who wants to pay their respects. In this video, we visit celebrity graves you can visit today and show you exactly what you will find when you get there. Marilyn Monroe, Westwood Village Memorial Park, Los Angeles, California. Her crypt in the Corridor of Memories is at eye level with the nameplate reading simply Marilyn Monroe, 1926 to 1962. Visitors leaving lipstick kisses on the marble. Joe DiMaggio had roses sent 3 times a week for 20 years. The cemetery also holds Dean Martin, Natalie Wood, Jack Lemmon, and Farrah Fawcett, free to enter off Wilshire Boulevard. Elvis Presley, Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee, buried in the Meditation Garden alongside his parents, grandmother, and grandson, Benjamin Keough, his grave marked by a large bronze plaque. Over 600,000 visitors a year during Elvis Week in August. Thousands walk single file past the graves holding candles in silence. Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash. Hendersonville Memory Gardens, Hendersonville, Tennessee. Buried side by side beneath a shade tree with flat markers in the ground, he died 4 months after her. Fans leave guitar picks and handwritten notes. The cemetery is open with no fee, no grand monument, just 2 flat stones in the grass. Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee, Lakeview Cemetery, Seattle, Washington. Father and son buried side by side on a hillside overlooking the city and the Cascade Range. Bruce's reddish granite marker featuring a yin-yang symbol. The father died in 1973 at 32, the son in 1993 at 28. Visitors leave martial arts memorabilia. The cemetery is free with directional signs from the entrance. Frank Sinatra, Desert Memorial Park, Cathedral City, California. His flat bronze marker reads, "The best is yet to come," reportedly buried with a bottle of Jack Daniels, a pack of Camels, a Zippo lighter, a roll of dimes, and Tootsie Rolls. Sonny Bono also buried at the same modest public cemetery near Palm Springs. Jim Morrison, Père Lachaise, Cemetery Paris, France. One of the most visited graves in the world, the flat stone marker guarded by a metal barrier and security camera, covered in flowers, candles, and whiskey bottles. Père Lachaise also holds Oscar Wilde, Edith Piaf, and Frédéric Chopin. Directional signs installed because visitors were getting lost and trampling other plots, free to enter. Jimi Hendrix, Greenwood Memorial Park, Renton, Washington. A large granite dome and pavilion built by his family in 2002 with a life-size bronze statue of Hendrix playing guitar and inscribed lyrics. Visitors leave guitar picks and flowers. The memorial is free and open during cemetery hours. The greatest guitarist in history has a memorial that looks like a small temple. Hank Williams, Oakwood Cemetery Annex, Montgomery, Alabama. His marble monument features a cowboy hat carved in stone and lyrics from I Saw the Light. Died at 29 in the back seat of his Cadillac on New Year's Day, 1953. An estimated 25,000 attended his funeral. Fans leave whiskey on the stone, one of the most visited graves in the American South. Ray Charles, Inglewood Park Cemetery, Inglewood, California. His polished black granite monument is inscribed with a carving of a grand piano. The cemetery also holds Ella Fitzgerald, Chet Baker, and Etta James, one of the most important African-American cultural cemeteries in the country, open daily with no admission fee. Ella Fitzgerald, Inglewood Park Cemetery, Inglewood, California. The First Lady of Song buried at the same cemetery as Ray Charles. Her 13 Grammy Awards and incomparable vocal technique on the Great American Songbook recordings, setting the standard for jazz singing. Died June 15, 1996, at age 79. Bob Hope, San Fernando Mission Cemetery, Mission Hills, California. His flat marker inscribed with the epitaph, "He chose himself." This is the biggest disappointment. Dean Martin and Ritchie Valens also buried at the public Catholic cemetery. Hope died in 2003 at age 100. Rodney Dangerfield, Westwood Village Memorial Park, Los Angeles, California. Steps from Marilyn Monroe, his headstone reads, "There goes the neighborhood." The comedian who built a career on I Don't Get No Respect made sure he got the last laugh. Dean Martin's nearby grave, inscribed with "Everybody loves somebody sometime." Johnny Ramone, Hollywood Forever Cemetery, Los Angeles, California. A life-sized bronze statue in his signature wide-legged guitar stance, one of the most photographed graves in Los Angeles. Hollywood Forever also holds Cecil B. DeMille, Rudolph Valentino, Judy Garland, Chris Cornell, and Tony Scott. The cemetery hosts movie screenings and Day of the Dead celebrations. A map of celebrity graves available at the entrance. Martin Luther King Jr., the King Center, Atlanta, Georgia. His white marble sarcophagus sits on a raised platform in a reflecting pool flanked by an eternal flame, inscribed, "Free at Last." His wife, Coretta Scott King, entombed beside him. The surrounding park includes his birth home and Ebenezer Baptist Church, free to visit daily. Abraham Lincoln, Oak Ridge Cemetery, Springfield, Illinois. The massive granite tomb topped by a 117-foot obelisk, a bronze bust outside whose nose has been worn gold by visitors rubbing it for good luck. His remains sealed beneath the floor behind a marble cenotaph. His wife Mary and 3 sons also interred, free to enter daily. Alexander Hamilton, Trinity Churchyard, Manhattan, New York. His white marble monument at Broadway and Wall Street is one of the most visited graves in the city since Lin-Manuel Miranda's musical. The churchyard is free to enter. Tourists line up to photograph the headstone of the founding father, killed in a duel by Aaron Burr. Benjamin Franklin, Christ Church Burial Ground, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. His flat marble slab reading Benjamin Franklin and Deborah, 1790, is visible through an iron fence from the sidewalk. Visitors throw pennies in tribute. The burial ground holds 4 other signers of the Declaration of Independence. The view from the sidewalk is free at all hours. Walt Disney, Forest Lawn Memorial Park, Glendale, California. His ashes interred in the Freedom Mausoleum in a private garden area, the location not prominently marked, but staff will direct visitors who ask. The persistent legend that he was cryogenically frozen is false. Forest Lawn is open during daylight with no fee, though many of its most famous graves are in locked private sections. Babe Ruth, Gate of Heaven Cemetery, Hawthorne, New York. His grave marked by a large monument depicting Jesus with a child. Over 100,000 filed past his coffin at Yankee Stadium in 1948. Fans leave baseballs, bats, and caps. The public Catholic cemetery also holds James Cagney and Billy Martin. No admission fee. Lou Gehrig, Kensico Cemetery, Valhalla, New York. A modest flat stone for the Iron Horse who played 2,130 consecutive games and delivered the luckiest man speech while dying of ALS at 37. Kensico also holds Danny Kaye, Sergei Rachmaninoff, and Ayn Rand, public and free. Freddie Mercury. No public grave. Cremated. Ashes scattered at an undisclosed location, believed to be near Lake Geneva, Switzerland, the location known only to his partner, Mary Austin. The wall outside Garden Lodge in Kensington, London serves as the closest thing to a public memorial. Michael Jackson, Forest Lawn, Glendale, California. Interred in the Holly Terrace section of the Great Mausoleum in a private alcove not accessible to the general public. Visitors can enter Forest Lawn but cannot reach the specific location. The most famous entertainer of the 20th century, resting behind a locked door. John Lennon, Strawberry Fields, Central Park, New York. No grave exists. His ashes scattered in Central Park by Yoko Ono. The Imagine mosaic in Strawberry Fields, across from the Dakota, draws visitors every day of the year. Flowers and candles perpetually arranged on the black and white tiles. Princess Diana, Althorpe Estate, Northamptonshire, England. Buried on an island in the Round Oval Lake on her family estate. The island visible from across the water during summer visiting months, but the grave itself inaccessible. Her brother chose the island so she would finally be left alone. Aretha Franklin, Woodlawn Cemetery, Detroit, Michigan. The Queen of Soul entombed in the mausoleum, her gold-plated casket displayed publicly before the funeral at Greater Grace Temple. Woodlawn also holds Rosa Parks, the Four Tops, Levi Stubbs, and the Temptations' David Ruffin, open during cemetery hours. Rosa Parks, Woodlawn Cemetery, Detroit, Michigan. Buried in the Chapel Mausoleum alongside her husband Raymond and mother Leona, the first woman to lie in honor in the Capitol Rotunda. Woodlawn holds more Detroit legends than any other cemetery in the city. Jackie Robinson, Cypress Hills Cemetery, Brooklyn, New York. The The man who broke baseball's color barrier with the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947, buried in the borough where he played. His number 42 retired across all of baseball. The cemetery is public and free. Muhammad Ali, Cave Hill Cemetery, Louisville, Kentucky. His flat marker reads simply, Muhammad Ali, beneath a shade tree at Cave Hill, the three-time heavyweight champion who requested no elaborate monument. His funeral procession through Louisville passed his childhood home and the gym where he first learned to box. Whitney Houston, Fairview Cemetery, Westfield, New Jersey, buried beside her father, John Russell Houston Jr., at the public cemetery in the New Jersey suburb where she grew up. Fans visit to leave flowers, the grave accessible during regular cemetery hours. Bob Marley, 9 Mile, St. Anne Parish, Jamaica. His mausoleum at his birthplace in the Jamaican Hills draws visitors from around the world. The site includes a museum and guided tour of the house where he was born and the room where he slept. Admission charged, the most visited tourist attraction in Jamaica outside the beach resorts. Amy Winehouse, no public grave. The Camden Square townhouse where she died was sold. A bronze statue in nearby Camden Market, unveiled in 2014, serves as the permanent public memorial. Camden was hers while she was alive. Selena Seaside Memorial Park, Corpus Christi, Texas. Her grave marked with a life-size monument and fresh flowers left daily by fans who travel from across the country. A memorial statue on the Corpus Christi shoreline draws hundreds of thousands of visitors annually. The cemetery is free. Nipsey Hussle, Forest Lawn, Hollywood Hills, Los Angeles, California. The rapper and community activist buried in the Courts of Remembrance section, where fans regularly walk right up to his sarcophagus to pay respects. His Marathon clothing store on West Slauson Avenue in Crenshaw, also serving as a public memorial with a plaza dedicated in his honor. John F. Kennedy, Arlington National Cemetery, Arlington, Virginia. His grave marked by an eternal flame lit by Jackie Kennedy on the day of his funeral. His brothers Robert and Edward buried nearby on the same hillside overlooking Washington. Arlington is free to enter, the flame visible from across the cemetery. Ulysses S. Grant, Grant's tomb, Riverside Drive, Manhattan, New York. The largest mausoleum in North America, completed in 1897, Grant resting beside his wife Julia beneath the domed rotunda. Free to enter, the restored monument overlooking the Hudson River draws visitors who often have the space to themselves. Frederick Douglass, Mount Hope Cemetery, Rochester, New York. New, the grave of the greatest orator and abolitionist in American history, marked by a large monument in the same cemetery as Susan B. Anthony. Voters leave "I voted" stickers on Anthony's nearby headstone every election day, despite the cemetery asking them to stop. Mark Twain, Woodlawn Cemetery, Elmira, New York. Born Samuel Clemens, buried beside his wife Olivia, with a monument 12 feet tall. Said he came in with Halley's Comet in 1835 and expected to go out with it. Died one day after the comet's closest approach in 1910. Ernest Hemingway, Ketchum Cemetery, Ketchum, Idaho. A simple grave surrounded by evergreens in the small Idaho cemetery. Fans leaving pennies, bottles, and notes. The mountains he loved visible from the plot. His father, brother, sister, and granddaughter also died by suicide. Edgar Allan Poe, Westminster Hall and Burying Ground, Baltimore, Maryland. For decades, a mysterious figure known as the Poe Toaster left roses and cognac at his grave on his birthday. The tradition stopped in 2009 and was revived by the Maryland Historical Society. The cemetery is open to visitors. Buddy Holly, City of Lubbock Cemetery, Lubbock, Texas. Changed the trajectory of rock and roll in less than 2 years, killed in an Iowa crash on a night later called the day the music died. His headstone bears his family name, Holly, shortened to Holly by a record contract typo. James Dean, Park Cemetery, Fairmount, Indiana. Starred in only 3 films before dying in a California car crash at 24. His headstone in his hometown has been stolen and replaced multiple times. The cemetery is public and free in the small Indiana town where he grew up. Otis Redding, Lincoln Memorial Garden Cemetery, Macon, Georgia. The greatest soul singer of the 1960s, killed when his plane crashed into a Wisconsin lake 3 days after recording Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay. His grave in the Georgia city where he lived is publicly accessible. Harriet Tubman, Fort Hill Cemetery, Auburn, New York. The Moses of her people who escaped slavery and returned 13 times to lead approximately 70 people to freedom, buried with military honors. Her grave in the small upstate New York town where she spent her final years is publicly accessible. Walt Whitman, Harley Cemetery, Camden, New Jersey. The most influential American poet designed and supervised construction of his own granite mausoleum. The tomb is visible to visitors, but the interior is locked, the author of Leaves of Grass resting in the structure he built for himself. D.D. Ramone, Hollywood Forever Cemetery, Los Angeles, California. The Ramones bassist buried near his bandmate Johnny, his headstone reading, "Okay, I gotta go now." Hollywood Forever holds more publicly accessible rock and punk graves than any other cemetery in the country. Chris Cornell, Hollywood Forever Cemetery, Los Angeles, California. The Soundgarden and Audioslave frontman buried at Hollywood Forever after his death in 2017. His garden grave a short walk from Johnny Ramone's bronze statue. Fans leave flowers, guitar picks, and handwritten lyrics. Lucille Ball, Lakeview Cemetery, Jamestown, New York. The Queen of Comedy originally interred in Los Angeles before her family moved her remains to her hometown of Jamestown in 2002. Her grave at the public cemetery draws fans year-round. The nearby Lucille Ball Desi Arnaz Museum in the small western New York town, a pilgrimage site for I Love Lucy fans. Judy Garland, Hollywood Forever Cemetery, Los Angeles, California. Originally buried at Ferncliff Cemetery in New York, her remains were moved to Hollywood Forever in 2017 at the request of her family. Her new crypt is in the Judy Garland Pavilion, a private mausoleum built specifically for her. Dean Martin, Westwood Village Memorial Park, Los Angeles, California. His crypt inscribed with "Everybody loves somebody." Sometime near Marilyn Monroe and Rodney Dangerfield. The King of Cool died on Christmas Day 1995 at age 78. Richie Valens, San Fernando Mission Cemetery, Mission Hills, California. The first Mexican-American rock and roll star killed in the same Iowa crash that took Buddy Holly. His grave at the Mission Cemetery near Bob Hope. Died February 3rd, 1959 at age 17. Louis Armstrong, Flushing Cemetery, Flushing, Queens, New York. The most important figure in jazz history buried in Queens. His famous home, located in nearby Corona, now operates as a museum. Visitors leave flowers and trumpet mouthpieces. Langston Hughes, Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture, Harlem, New York. The poet laureate of the Harlem Renaissance, whose ashes are interred beneath a floor medallion, inscribed with a cosmogram in the foyer of the institution dedicated to Black scholarship. Visitors walk over his resting place daily. Susan B. Anthony, Mount Hope Cemetery, Rochester, New York. The most tireless advocate for women's suffrage, her headstone near Frederick Douglass's grave covered in "I voted" stickers every election day. The cemetery asks visitors to stop because the adhesive damages the marble. They do it anyway.